Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. Welcome to a kitchen decluttering video. It is week 4 of the Sophisticated Declutter. It's our last week in the kitchen, so I thought I would share a little bit of decluttering here on YouTube. I've been sharing a lot on Instagram, so make sure you are following me there as well, but I'm trying to get content on both platforms related to the declutter and related to the areas that we are cleaning out in our homes. If you're following along, if you're thinking to yourself, what is she talking about right now? I will link the Sophisticated Declutter playlist and you can watch the intro video and figure out exactly what I'm talking about. But today I am pulling out a few things out of my pantry. I've already gone through and decluttered my food, but there are a few other miscellaneous items that I keep in there. This bin really is miscellaneous items. There's a few parts that go to my juicer, a few things that I don't know what they are, and if you do follow me on Instagram, you know I polled the community and asked what they were. I had a mini waffle maker that I decided to get rid of because I got a larger one that I like a whole lot more. The next bin is extra parts for my mixer as well as things for my Instant Pot. And this little yellow silicone thing is to make eggs in the Instant Pot, which I've never done before, so I've never used this. My mom got it for me. I'm gonna give it a try and see how I like it, and then if I don't like it, I will declutter it. I have a few bins for extra baking items. I'm going to keep most of these, but there is a cake leveler that I decided to get rid of. I usually just use a knife instead. I also have a holiday bin that relates to baking items as well, where I keep sprinkles and other things like that that are related to specific holidays. So I'm making sure things aren't expired or broken. I did find some Halloween sprinkles that I got rid of, but for the most part, I'm gonna keep them, and that bin barely has anything in it. Then the last few bins are also related to cake and cupcakes. I have cupcake liners. I also have things to decorate for frosting and cookie cutters. If you are newer to my channel, I want to start off by saying I absolutely love to cook, but I even more so love to bake. It is one of my favorite hobbies. So I do have a lot of baking supplies. And again, if you follow me, you know that I like to make really elaborate things. So that typically requires a little bit more in terms of supplies, but I am trying to be realistic with myself and get rid of things that I'm not using or things that I have duplicates of or things that I can use another item for. And a great example of that was the cake leveler. I can just use a knife, so I don't need a special tool for that necessarily. I love that mindset when decluttering kitchen gadgets. I try to think, is this actually saving me time, saving me effort, saving me in some way that it's worth the extra space that this item is taking up in my home? Into the drawers, I am going to get rid of a random ramekin. I had a part that I was holding on to, couldn't figure out what it went to, so I'm going to declutter that. I am going to put these pie baking beads in a different spot and get rid of that container because it doesn't actually hold them in. And while I'm doing some decluttering today, I am also not necessarily organizing or reorganizing, but I'm doing some rearranging. I also found that I had 2 of these dropper tools. They are more so related to baking. I am going to get rid of one because I don't need 2 and put the other one with the baking supplies. The next drawer over, I have some miscellaneous tools, cheese graters, peelers, and I am going to get rid of one of my peelers and keep the other one. Then I have a drawer with napkins and trivets. I am going to take those out, give it a clean. Always a nice time to clean at the same time as decluttering, clean and organize if you can, if you have time along with this project. But for me, the main focus is trying to declutter. I got rid of a couple of cork trivets, and I will say there was a small silicone cover there that you can put to cover food when you put it in the refrigerator, or cover maybe a cup of tea or something when you put it in the microwave so it doesn't splatter, that I forgot I had. So part of the benefit of doing this and going through every single drawer and every single cabinet is remembering what you actually own so you use it or get rid of it. And if you don't see me go through a specific cabinet or drawer in this video, make sure to check out my Instagram because again, I am sharing more over there as well. This is the new waffle maker I was mentioning and the reason I got rid of the little one. I am in love with this, so I will link it in the description box below. You'll see I'm putting plates on it. The plates are removable and dishwasher safe, and there are 2 sets of plates so you can make a traditional waffle or a Belgian waffle. I keep a few other baking supplies under there. My mom sent me another thing, this baking mat that I had never opened. And I love that my mom sends me stuff, but when you get things as gifts, you really need to figure out if they're gonna work in your life and go through that keep it or don't decision pretty quickly, or else you are going to end up with a lot of clutter in your house. At least that's what happens for me, because gifts are things that you didn't necessarily need, or wasn't you actively going out and making that purchase because you desired that item in your house. Gifts can lead to a lot more clutter, so it's good to be aware of that. I did a quick inventory of my baking sheets, cupcake trays, and I had a few silicone things here that I used to bake in. One I got from a work party to make hot chocolate bombs. I don't need a tray to make hot chocolate bombs, so I'm gonna declutter that. I'm just showing you what our daily dish cabinet looks like. I did that on Instagram and I'm not going to declutter anymore right now. But the other cabinet has just been kind of a problem. I like to keep our mugs here, our glasses here, our cake stand. I have a vase up here, a couple of pitchers, and I know those are the things I like in there. There is some extra space though, and my husband had put our mixing bowls and our strainers there, and I just don't like the way that it looks, and it felt weird having those up high and not in a drawer, especially because with this frosted glass you can kind of see through. So I'm just playing around right now with how I want that to look, and maybe seeing if there's other serving dishes that look nice through the frosted glass that I'd prefer to have there, maybe at closer access, but just decided not to. You'll see I end up putting the mixing bowls back up there, but I am going to keep the strainers down low in this drawer that is actual disaster. With this drawer empty, I am going to get rid of a random piece of Tupperware. It is Ello. I actually really like it, but it doesn't match my Tupperware. I got it sent to me, which is often why I have a lot of extra stuff in my home because of what I do here on YouTube and Instagram. I do get some things sent to me. And because it doesn't match my set, again, I really like it, I am going to declutter it. I cleaned out the drawer and then I'm going to neatly put things back, and you'll see that rearranging I was talking about with the other cabinet. I have my veggie chopper in here, which is new-ish, and there are a bunch of parts that come with it. I've mostly just used it for basic chopping, but I know that I can find the instructions online, so I'm going to get rid of that. There were multiple cleaning tools where I have other tools that are very similar that I decided to get rid of and just keep the parts that are actually for the chopper. It also has a spiralizer attachment and a couple others. I got rid of a few more lids that go to kids' dishes. I don't need a lid for every single dish that we have. It is nice to put a lid on every now and then, but I don't need them for all. And then with the extra space in this drawer, I'm going to save it for our child's lunch boxes, but he is at school right now and his other one's in the dishwasher. So there's an empty space. And then the other lids that I had in this drawer, I'm going to put in the cabinet to the right where the actual items are that go with the lids. That just makes more sense. We previously had a pile of all of the lids in that middle drawer, but they would slide all over the place, and you saw how the drawer looked at the beginning, so it was a mess. And same thing here, I did get rid of 2 lids, one smaller one and one larger one. I am not gonna need to cover all of these Pyrex dishes all at the same time, so I kept 2 lids for each size, and I do have 3 Pyrex dishes of each size. I'm playing a game of Tetris here to figure out how everything best fits, including our mandolin and our rolling pin. And then up a drawer is our Tupperware storage, which I love the way it's organized and love just the two sets of Tupperware we have. We have one plastic and one glass, although I do prefer the glass set. Over here we have our tea and coffee station that I'm going to go through a little bit here. We have our knife block set. Nothing needs to be decluttered with our knife block. Then I have our food processor, which I really enjoy, except for the fact that it has fallen on the ground multiple times. Once my friend dropped it when I lived in Denver and broke part of it off. And then I dropped a part of it here in Nebraska in our home and broke another part. So I'm going to look into seeing if I can get a replacement top for it, or maybe just at some point I need to get a new food processor because it is so broken there. It's getting hard to get the top on and off. So while I would like to declutter it because it's broken right now, it is the only food processor I have, so I'm going to hold on to it and look to replace it in the future. This is the kid drawer. We now have 2 kids. It's nice to have a drawer completely dedicated to kids. We have lots of bibs and cups and plates and bowls, so I'm gonna go through. This one is a little bit more of a reorganizing project than a decluttering project, but there are still a few things that I'm going to declutter, random bowls that don't match, as we were figuring out what worked best for our baby, then toddler, and trying to keep just a couple of matching sets really helps because then things are stackable, they nest together, take up less space, and fit better in the drawer. Last but not least, we have the cabinet over on the side here where I keep our water bottles and a few other random things. So I keep our super cubes in there. Those are not going anywhere. One of my favorite products to have in the kitchen for freezing meals. We also have some disposable cups. Jim will sometimes take those on the road with him. I like having them as well, but oftentimes we don't always use a lid when we use them. So I'm gonna get rid of a few lids because I think we have more lids than we have cups at this point. So I'm just gonna go ahead and declutter a few lids. I am decluttering a few water bottles. I found that we had some extra lids that go with some water bottles that we don't have anymore. And though the organizer looks big here, there are a few empty open slots there, so it's not completely stuffed. And then as our kids start to have water bottles, they can fill those slots with whatever they have. So that is it for today's video. I'm gonna show you a pile of everything that I am decluttering just from today. Again, follow me on Instagram to see even more things that I decluttered. I got rid of a French press I used to use for work, a water bottle like I mentioned, the instructions that you can always find online for different things, those tops to the water, the Halloween sprinkles, an organizer that doesn't fit on any of our cabinets. I'm gonna figure out what to do with that egg thing and so many more items. But until next time, I will see you all later.